welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols.
Well, what's going on, man?
Oh, just getting through another day. I always make that sound so boring, right? Life is exciting, and I've got lots of things going on.
Well, that's true.
So, I feel like people who are listening are like, what a dull guy.
Well, I can say from experience, you are far from dull.
But yeah, I got a lot going on in my life, so more than the podcast, but that's just one of the many things.
Well, that's kind of the joys of life of being able to do different stuff and, go out there. You're right. There is a ton of things that wherever you live, life is a journey. It's a lot of fun. It's got its downs, but it's got its ups. And, just sometimes you got to ride it like a bull.
There's probably some pretty boring places to live. I just haven't lived there.
No, neither have I.
No.
But, I like living in the DFW area.
Lots to do.
Well, we are the fourth largest metropolitan center in the country with, tons of stuff.
Yeah.
We got movies and theaters. We've got all kinds of plays and concerts. And, we got Jerry World. So they're hosting tons of stuff at Jerry World all the time.
Yeah, they are.
Or Cowboy Stadium for everyone else.
Most people don't pay attention to Jerry unless you live here.
So, but yeah, there's so many things to do.
Sure. Tons of it.
So
I thought I would kind of take the lead on this one.
Oh, well, sure.
Today. So
I like it. What do you want to talk about?
You and I have both lived in various places. Right?
Yeah.
I lived on the East Coast, a couple of places north and south. Now living, in Texas, but those moves have been kind of big things, and my wife and I have talked at length at times since moving out of New Hampshire into Florida. For a time in Florida, it was, how do you make friends, right? In New Hampshire, we've been there all our lives. We had friends. We had people that we hung out with. We had stuff we did. We had the church we went to. We had all the stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then one day we picked up, literally, we didn't even know we were going to do it. So it was only a week later, we picked everything up and we moved to South Florida. And now we knew nobody.
Okay.
We had no relationships, no friends. And it comes down to, well, where do you get friends? Never really thought about that before, right?
Okay.
How do you make friends and how do you make that friendship work? And so that's been kind of, a struggle. And then just a few years ago, we did the same thing, right? We moved from Florida to Texas, and all of a sudden it's, how do we make friends? And to some extent, we've made friends in different places, but you always want to increase your friend pool.
Mm-hmm.
And, that way you have more things to do with other people.
Well, I will say that the more friends you have, the more fun life can be.
It can be, right? That's what life's about, relationships.
True enough.
Unless you're just going to sit in the woods and write a manifesto. I feel like the lack of friends is what causes you to sit in the woods and write a manifesto, right? Because you're mad at everybody.
Yeah.
So I read for some good articles about just life in general.
Okay.
I often read things from The Atlantic.
Okay.
And so I came across an article from The Atlantic that it actually was a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow.
It has
Okay.
to do with friendships. And it just got me thinking about some things, back to these conversations I had with my wife about friendships and how do you make them and what makes a good one.
Okay.
And I know that we've done some other episodes on friendships. And
just recently.
Different kinds of angles about friendships. And so I just want to talk about some of the concepts that are in the article. Of course, if you are subscribing to The Atlantic, you can definitely look it up. There's a great series on friendships. So lots of articles. It's more than just one. But it's a great series. It's by Julie Beck. So if you want to look her up, lots of good stuff there. But one of the ththings is that friendships can be different depending on your season in life.
What do you mean?
I mean, as a teenager, right? You have kind of different friendships, maybe than you have when you're, an adult.
Okay.
So men and women have different kinds of friendships, maybe. And then there's, of course, the dating scene, right? Which I know that lots of people struggle with now that it's all through an app somewhere where you have to do right or left or whatever. I don't even know what any of that is. Got to be honest with you, I have no idea.
I will tell you.
My wife in my driveway.
Well, I can tell you straight up that was the hardest part of going through the divorce is how the heck do you meet people?
Right.
I mean, when every one of us when we were in the group, we met our spouses either in high school or in college. And so that was easy. I mean, you were a ton of single people all together. Well, how do you meet? And so, yeah, a lot of us tried a wide variety of those dating apps from, Match.com to Tinder to Craigslist. I didn't even know you could date on Craigslist, but you could.
Yeah, it seems kind of dicey to me, but yeah, I mean, part of that is about time, right? So that's one of the things here is that time is an issue. The more time you spend with people, the more likely you are to become friends.
Really?
Right. So, I mean, think about it. As a teenager, you were in high school. You spent a lot of time with those people, probably in the same classes and things. And so, different years, you might have developed some different friends or expanded your friend pool because you spent time in classes with those people.
Okay, yeah.
You spent time at the cafeteria with them. You met up after school and did things. And then eventually you all graduated, and then you never saw them again.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, that friendship dwindles because the time has lessened. And there's distance between them. Now, some people these days, right, stay in touch. I'm in touch with some people from back in my days marching in drum corps many years ago.
Yeah.
I won't say how many, but
2 or 3.
But that's because of Facebook, right? So we've all only reconnected since Facebook existed,
right?
And it's not super deep or anything like it had been when we traveled the country marching in stadiums. So, but time is the thing, right? So the more time you spend, the deeper or the more likely you're going to develop a friendship, right? So people at work, right? As an adult, you tend to develop relationships with people at work.
Okay.
Or if you're part of a church or a civic organization or something like that, right? Like that's where you develop your friends. I suppose for some people, you frequent the bar, so whoever else frequents the bar, you become friends.
Hey, it's Norm at Cheers, baby.
Right, and that's fine, but it has to do with time. And so, in order to make friends, you got to kind of put time into it. If you sit on your couch, probably not a lot of other people there.
True.
To be making friends with.
Okay, the next thing you know, you're in the woods writing a manifesto.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, you might have a neighbor. Maybe you do little backyard barbecue with your neighbors, and you get to know them. But short of actually taking that step to do that, right? You don't have that, and that's part of it is that spending that time with somebody and kind of being giving attention to that.
Well, that does make sense because, I've had friends, we were friends in high school, and then you're right, you graduate, go your separate ways. And for a lot of them, I haven't seen them. And you work with, I've worked in many different places.
Right.
And when you're right, when you stop working together, you stop hanging out.
Mm-hmm. And, paying attention to people might actually lead you to becoming friends with somebody that you didn't think you would be friends with.
What do you mean?
Well, you might still remain friends with somebody who is an ex for some people. I've seen that. Right?
Okay.
They can't be together romantically.
Okay.
Maybe they stay together as friends. You might have a neighbor that kind of drives you nuts, but if you pay some attention to them,
they become less nutty.
Maybe they become a good friend and they start having beers over the fence.
Okay.
Or whatever. I think that paying attention and seeing the people that are out there might actually become friends with somebody that you didn't expect. Maybe you're a very staunch political person, one side or the other,
Mm-hmm.
and you meet somebody from the opposite side, right? And they can still be your friend, right?
Okay.
So,
well, to piggyback on what you were saying just a little bit ago, my sister, one of my sisters, when she got divorced, her and her ex-husband, they make better ex-spouses than they did when they were married.
sure.
I mean, they still hang out. They go to dinner all the time. They, my brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law comes over and helps out with my sister at her house. I mean, there's nothing romantic, I don't think, going on, but they make much better friends.
Sure.
So yeah, I see what you're saying by that.
So I mean, that can be an avenue. You just got to be able to see who's out there, and maybe give some attention to that person that you think maybe you could never be friends with. They might be your best friend for life.
Okay.
BFF or whatever those terms are. Right. You got to be intentional about the things you want to do. It's sort of like when when you or I we'll be like, so let's go to lunch.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to go to lunch on a Saturday, and we're going to grab the other guys too.
Yeah.
And we got to be intentional about when we're going to do it, and where we're going to go. And Torches is great, but I've been thinking Norma's lately.
Ooh.
So, right. I mean, you got to be intentional. Nobody wants to be with a friend who's like, no, I don't. I can't get together. Right. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. Or I'm busy on that day. I think I have a thing to go to.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You can't just blow people off.
No, and you are correct, and I think that it is. When you say intentional, I've got some friends that I've worked with that when you stop working together, it's really hard. When I lived in Pennsylvania, I had a really good friend. His name was Glenn.
Yeah.
And it has been hard. Thank goodness for Facebook.
Yeah.
But we're half a country away. But when Sherry and I went back up to go see her family, some of her extended family anyway,
sure,
up in Buffalo. And when we went up to Buffalo, I said, we need to swing through State College. I want to see my friend Glenn.
There you go.
And I reached out and we hung out and we went, it was really a lot of fun.
And I would bet it would be like you picked up where you left off.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, 15 years had passed by, but it was. And a lot of life had traveled in those good 15 years. My best friend growing up, he still lives back home.
Right.
And it's it takes effort on both of our parts.
Mm-hmm.
My other really good best friend, he lives in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an effort but it's a worthwhile effort because I don't want that friendship to die.
Yeah. I go back to Florida every year and I intentionally try to get together at least once with a group of friends that I was always around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of fun. And because of that, we tend to stay in touch. We got all this technology now, so we tend to stay in touch through group chats, which I actually understand is one of the biggest social media things. It's actually not
really
TikTok or any of those other ones. It's group chats have become a big thing. But anyway, that's for another episode.
Okay.
Look for that coming up.
All right. I look forward to it.
But you have to be intentional about things. Part of that intentionality is, maybe even some ritual. And so my best thing for this is, like you and I and some of our friends, while we're at work, in the before working hours, we all come in early.
Oh, yeah.
And we have what we call the morning meeting, which generally has nothing to do with talking about work. It has everything to do with talking about absolutely anything else that is on our minds. And everybody enjoys it enough that everybody seems to come every time.
And it's grown over the years.
There's a few people who come in, periodically to see what the heck it is we're doing.
Yeah.
But ritual can be important. Some of the things that they actually mentioned in the article are things like Dungeons and Dragons, which I know that you have done
I love playing
with some
D&D.
friends. Maybe some regular dinner parties, right? Like I have a group that from church that we get together, and we're actually, we get together one night a week, and it may seem like it's some kind of, if you make it a ritual, like it's some kind of rote thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can not be there if we don't need to, and
Right.
nobody's going to unfriend us for not doing that. But in general, we want to be there. We want to connect with those people and hang out with them, and it's a lot of fun.
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
So no, I mean ritual.
Well, when I was going through the divorce, I was so lucky to be part of this divorce recovery group, and we would meet every Tuesday. And after the meeting, we would adjourn to Cafe Express, and it would be the meeting after the meeting, and it was everybody just enjoy, laugh, tell stories, cut up, talk about our exes, talk about divorce, talk about kids, talk about all the stuff that was kind of forbidden in the group meeting.
Sure.
And it was you learned. It was really good.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it other than, yes, it was a ritual, and we did it every Tuesday night. Mm-hmm. I mean, you went to the meeting, you went to the after meeting, and it was a ritual.
Yeah.
It became habit.
Yeah, it's part of what for a lot of people, what church was, especially like on the frontier, right, in history, like being history people that we are. Part of that's what held community together, because that was the social environment. You went there every week. You heard a message, right? But then you had lunch with people. You had the church picnic. You had lots of social time to be connecting with people. Some of these people might, at that time, live many, many miles away.
Yeah,
and only come in once a week. And so, that was that cohesiveness that was the place.
Yeah,
where you put that together. That was their ritual.
Well, that makes sense.
Right. And we got to have the same things. It's a more complicated society today, especially living in a large metropolitan area.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still the same concept, right? Like you have to be intentional and maybe even a little bit ritualistic to make sure that you are reaching out and connecting with those people that you want to call friends.
Yeah, because I agree with you. Friends make life way more enjoyable, and to be able to, do stuff, because over time, sometimes you move, they move, and I enjoy getting back together to reminisce, to tell stories, some of which may not be very accurate, but it is kind of fun. You laugh, you joke, and sometimes it's fun to introduce new people to your old group. So I get that. I get that a lot.
Healthy friendships probably, and again, no research on this, but I'm thinking healthy friendships probably generate new friendships along the way, right? Like other people, if you've got your set of friends and I've got mine, and maybe we connect some and different ones meet, so you can always be making new friends at different times in your life, right? We don't always have the same ones at the same level all the time.
Sure.
But you got to be meeting people and being friends with more than just one other person.
Yeah.
Or no other persons.
Now as I'm thinking about what you're saying, I remember the neighborhood we grew up in. And you did have people move in, people move out. But the people that moved in, they were made to feel like,
welcome.
Yeah. And, just the different community things. And I've listened to some of my coworkers here, and they talk about how their community, their neighborhood would do stuff. Like during COVID, the community would bring in food trucks.
Right.
And they would go do stuff like that. One of the guys here, he talks about how over Halloween,
right,
they still have a ton of trick-or-treaters through the neighborhood. And so he and some of the guys will get together in one of the neighbor, in somebody's garage, and they'll run a cooler for, adult trick-or-treaters and a grill and grilling hot dogs. And so when mom or dad are walking by with the kids, hey, mom, hey, dad, you need a hot dog or an adult trick-or-treat?
Yeah.
But they all, there's 4 or 5 dads and they all just hang out, and it's that community that helps you feel more connected.
I think most people are hungry for that, some kind of community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's something I've always looked for wherever I've been. And I know there's a lot of organizations that try to kind of foster that. Most recently, the church that I attend, they did that.
Yeah.
They have lots of different groups that they created. And, if you want to be the motorcycle guy group, go for it. If you want to be in the pool playing group, go for it. If you want to be, so they kind of marry it up to some kind of activity, which of course makes it easier, right?
Sure.
But being imaginative can be important too, right? Like trying to have different kinds of things that you might do. I mean, a friendship can be whatever you want it to be. Is one of the things that they say, right? But you can paint that however you want. Maybe it's golf. Maybe it's just hanging out and watching movies, right? Maybe it's a book club. Maybe it's Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe, whatever it is, right? You can be imaginative and work that out with whoever you're trying to be friends with.
Well, you mentioned that, and that's how this podcast got started. Bryce and I were pals, and we were just talking one day, and it's kind of like, well, what if we did this? Ooh, and we could talk about this, and we could talk about that, and we could throw this in, and
Sure,
use this experience that we had to elaborate. And it's so, yeah, imagination.
Think up something new, right?
Yeah, and it's been, well, here we are, a few years later, and we're still doing it. He's not with us as much anymore, but still, I mean, we're having a good time talking about fun stuff.
Yeah, it's all good. So probably the last and maybe the most important thing about friendship is the idea of grace, right, of forgiveness of some level, right? If you have a friend that hasn't talked to you in a while, like, how does that make you feel? Do you feel like maybe they're intentionally not talking to you anymore? Or maybe they're they're upset with you about something, or they just don't want to be your friend anymore. And, I mean, I hear these things from some people, and life is busy, right?
Oh, amen.
And so life is busy for everybody, and sometimes it's just that life got busy, and we weren't intentional enough to make it happen the way that we would want that friendship to happen.
Sure.
And so, but having some forgiveness, because people have different things going on in life at different seasons and different emergencies and different issues and things like that. And so sometimes maybe a phone call is all it takes, and then just let them know you're thinking of them. And other times, you might be able to get together and do other things. But I think overall, right, one of the big things is to make sure that you are not judging them or doing any of that. Right? I mean, it's about giving friends grace.
As you say that, my ex-wife, Eric's mother, hated my best friends. She hated my friends Tom and Cindy. And I wasn't really allowed to hang with them, talk to them when she was around.
Yeah.
And so, as a consequence, my interactions with them was greatly limited. And at first, I wasn't understanding what she was doing. But I am glad they gave me grace when I finally was able to figure out what she was doing and get my head screwed back on straight.
Yeah.
They forgave me and they said, hey, no blood, no foul. You're good. And that made a huge difference. I mean, my friend Tom and I, we've been friends. We knew each other since elementary school.
Right.
And it made all the difference. I mean, my other best friend, Steve, who lives in Florida now, his mom and dad, my mom and dad, I mean, we go back to age 5.
Mm-hmm.
But they moved away and we grew up and lost track for years. And lo and behold, I'm living in Pennsylvania. He reached out, somehow got my phone number, I think from my mom, and he was in DC and he said, "Hey, I'm 4 hours away. I want to come up and visit with you."
Mm-hmm.
And it was as though 15, 18 years had never been there.
Right.
And, it was kind of fun. It was great. It was, a piece of the past has come back.
Yeah.
So grace, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you got to be forgiving and hope that others forgive you.
Right. And that's a big part of friendship. So, if you want to be good friends, it has to be kind of equal, but you don't want to judge the other person for having any kind of struggle. So, I just think that friendship is really important. And having moved around the country a few times,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a really important part of life, and it helps me be a better person. It helps me learn new things. It helps
Mm-hmm.
me, talk about issues. I mean, it helps with all kinds of things in life. It's a place to go for when you are struggling, maybe in another relationship, and you need some advice, right? I mean, it's a place to go where you can trust people. So, the longer you're friends with somebody, obviously, the more you trust them. And that's a benefit to you, and you can be a benefit to them.
I guess I have the right, one of the kinds of personalities that makes it easy to make friends. And my wife says, there's nobody I am not afraid to talk to.
Sure. I mean, I have the same experience.
And I'm glad, because when I was a little kid, I was as quiet as a church mouse.
Sure.
Shy of my own shadow.
I can't believe it.
Oh, well, I know. I mean, what a loud, crazy, obnoxious son of a buck I am now. But and I'm glad I'm not. I'm glad I outgrew that.
Maybe the loud part, but not the rest of it. So.
But it is. Life is tough.
Yeah.
But
you know what? Friends makes it better.
Amen. I mean, if you and I weren't pals, we wouldn't be doing this.
Nope.
And this is fun.
I'd be at home sleeping on my couch, having no friends.
Drafting manifesto after manifesto.
Sure. Anyway, I just wanted to bring it up because I think that, some people struggle with how to make friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how those friendships should play out. And I just think that these are just a few key things that I think people can use to try to have better friendships.
Well, I'm glad you did, because it is important. And, you start looking at, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up, because I hadn't thought about the idea that most of my friends are people I either work with, went to school with, went to church with, or live next to.
Mm-hmm.
But yet that's pretty much all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yay.
And so if we're just hiding in our house, we're missing the opportunity.
So
get out there.
Get the wind blown off you, or the stink blowed off you, as my mama would say, and meet the neighbors.
That's right. All right. Well, I think that's all we have time for today.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing this up. It was kind of fun to be on the opposite side of...
A little different, isn't it?
Yeah, I kind of like it. All right. Well, then I guess until next time, I'm Rod, and my friend is...
Scott, and go make a friend.
All right. Bye.
Bye.